Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. This is a daily ramble. I hope you're all well. Wednesday, people. We're broke the back of the week. Soon be Friday, or more to the point, soon be Saturday when we face off against Spurs. But we'll talk about that closer to the time, although it is creeping up, and it really is. Are you looking forward to it? I don't know whether I am or not. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time. We've got plenty of other stuff to be getting our teeth into, like the return of Lucas Fabianski. Jared Bowen's 15 minutes from Tommy Tickle in the second England game after the opposition went down to 10 men. That was nice of him, wasn't it? And the rumoured takeover of West Ham as well, among other things associated with it, and what I think of that. So before we get into that, if you are new to this channel, as many of you are, welcome aboard. Why not join us? Subscribe, and don't forget, drop a like on the video, please. It does really help. Lucas Fabianski has replaced Wes Foderingham as our third choice goalkeeper. Let's face it, we probably should have never let him go. We went ahead and spent a lot of money on Hermansen, who could prove to be a very good goalkeeper in time, but most people would be in agreement with the fact that goalkeeper wasn't an area that we probably did need to spend money on when you consider it the other areas that we're weak in, particularly up front, because I don't know whether you know, Nicholas Füllkrug is injured. He's got a calf injury apparently, but we don't know how bad it is. But one thing is for certain, he won't be playing against Tottenham on the weekend. So we had money to spend in other areas. Plus, look, Lucas Fabianski is a good goalkeeper. I know he's getting on, 40 years old. It's just a bit embarrassing to sign him back. It wouldn't have been embarrassing to keep him and make that decision at the start of the window as part of our transfer strategy to say, right, we've only got this much money. This is all we're going to spend. So goalkeepers, we're fine for now. We'll sort that out later. We'll keep them in. But to re-sign him, I mean, who's going to be next? We know who's going to be next. And that's going to be Mikel Antonio. We're going to end up with Antonio, Füllkrug and Wilson as our free striker options. We just know it. So look, nonetheless, Fabianski is a character that we all love. He is one of our greatest ever goalkeepers. And we know he'll do a job if he is called upon, but he shouldn't be really. He's third choice. Nonetheless, good to have you back, mate. Welcome back to West Ham. We'll say goodbye to you again. The other news is about this rumoured takeover bid, which isn't a topic that I particularly wanted to touch on. Not really. We've been seeing in kind of the last week or so, more and more people in the mainstream media have been coming out in defence of the board. There was a piece in the Daily Telegraph. I can't remember the author of that, but it was blatantly a favour's been called in. So Sullivan is rattled. I mean, we know what's happened. We know that the Fab have issued a vote of no confidence. We know that Hammers United are staging protests. We know that we've been running petitions at Claret and Booze throughout the West Ham fan base since before this window opened. So this disgruntlement's been there for quite a while. Well, it's been there for 15 years, let's face it. But it's really picked up a head of steam just in the past few months. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. You know, there are some voices within the fan base. Of course there are. I made that show the other day about poor old Dave on West Ham Fan TV. Because I just don't feel like it's very helpful at the minute for people, certainly within our own fan base, to be taking that angle when we're going to be getting loads of people in the mainstream media that are going to be helping Sullivan out anyway. And there are voices out there that are saying it won't do anything, it won't do this, it's not bothering them. Well, it will. I mean, I don't know whether you've seen the flyer for the Brentford game. You know that's the game that we're set to boycott. Well, they're doing kids for £1 for that game. So they're trying every which way that they can to demean this protest and this action. I mean, if I was Hammers United, I'd let them do kids for £1, pull the plug on that boycott, and then just move it to another game, and I'd keep doing it. You know, if they want to sell tickets for £1, let them do it. But we won't do that because we've got to stick to our guns. But I'm petty. I am petty, and that's the type of people that we're dealing with. You know. Nonetheless, I'm pretty sure that we'll get a decent amount of people that will jump on board and stand side by side with other West Ham fans, because that's the important thing, being united in this. If we are, we will win. And clearly it's rattling them. You know, they don't like the bad press. Hence, we're getting articles coming out now from their friends backing them up. So clearly, Sullivan doesn't like bad press. But what happens in transfer windows? What happened in this transfer window? Just gone. We got linked with Harvey Elliott. We got linked with Jack Grealish. We got linked with all these other players that we was never ever going to sign. And they do that because they throw us a bone and they try and shut us up. Well, the other thing that they do, and they've done this many times before, is rumours of a takeover emerge. So when the fans are really unhappy with the regime, all of a sudden you get rumours of a takeover. And that sparks a lot of excitement within the fan base because it's what we want more than anything else. And they want to take the sting out of these protests. As far as I'm concerned, there is no substance in this whatsoever. You don't go from Tottenham to West Ham because apparently Amanda Staveley is representing somebody, Saudi interest, in terms of buying a London-based football club. They did approach Tottenham. Talks didn't go well, and now they're going to apparently be turning their attention to West Ham, is the rumour. Now, look, I've been guilty of doing this myself. A couple of years ago, I went on Hammers Chat and I released a similar story from information that I'd been given. And ever since then, you know, that was when I was a little bit more wet behind the ears in terms of the way that West Ham works and the way that they leak news out and the way that they can manipulate people like me to in turn manipulate people like you with nonsense information. So for me, I don't think there is any chance of a takeover at the minute. And even if there was, even if there is, and there's even more reason for us to turn the screw and really force these people out, because the only thing that would prevent a sale, if we did have an interested party at the moment, would be the asking price from David Sullivan, which has always been far higher than market value. Far higher. He values us at something stupid like 2 billion, so I've been told. Maybe even more. Nowhere near that. We've got to be closer to between 500 million and a billion, you know? That's where we are as a club, depending on how much somebody does want to splurge. Because there's so much that needs to be done. Whoever does come in, they're going to have to strike a deal with the LLDC, buy that stadium, either knock it down, build us a new one, or renovate that one, do the training ground up, kill all our debts. There's a lot of money there. All you're buying is debts and problems when you buy West Ham. So, yeah, if there is any remote chance that a Saudi investor or whoever else is interested in buying West Ham, we're doing them a favour at the minute. By protesting, by forcing Sullivan's hand, by going, oh, do you know, whatever they're offering, oh, do you know what, that's fine. We'll take it. We'll take 700 billion. But the worry is that the appetite is that Sullivan knows his fan base better than, better than I'd like him to. Because it does work. You know, all he has to do, it doesn't matter what's happened before, all he has to do is throw us a bone and we'll shut up. For a lot of people, not for everyone, but for a lot of people, that is the case. And I just think it's really important now that we don't turn our back on this movement, regardless what happens on Saturday. You know, please God, I hope we do Spurs. It'd be amazing. But if we do, we must keep on turning that screw. Now, I know that you're probably getting very bored with me talking about this. I know you are. You know. I can see it in my numbers as well, you know. It'd be far better for me to be talking about other things for the channel, for the health of the channel. Of course it would, but I'm not going to do that at the moment. I'm really not, because it's important that we maintain focus. So I don't really care about the numbers at the minute. For those that want to listen, I'm still going to be here, and I'm still pushing the petition as well, bsout.co.uk. If you haven't signed, please do. We're over 14,000 now. We've smashed through the 14,000 barrier. If we were to lose against Spurs, that would jump up a couple of thousand as well. We'd be approaching 20,000 signatures on that petition that nobody else seems to want to talk about. But we all know. We all know. That's the important thing. Because this is a collective effort as a fan base. You know, myself, the other channels, the other forums, everyone who's on Twitter that shared that petition, everyone that's going to be at the protest, all the people that are in, you know, working with Hammers United, those at Hammers United that are, you know, putting in hours upon hours of work to get these things organised, because it ain't straightforward. It ain't just a case of turning up and protesting. Well, you can do that, but you run the risk of it all going bandy and getting in trouble with the police, and that's not the image that we want to be portraying. We don't. We want to be looking like a unified fan base that are all kind of singing from the same hymn sheet And all together, we're focusing on the board for them to go. So would I like a Saudi takeover fronted up by Amanda Staveley to come in and look after us for a few years? Yeah, look, as far as I'm concerned, I just want Gold and Sullivan. Well, it is the Golds, Sullivan and Brady and Kretinsky out of this club. That's all I want now. We need a clean slate because we are running a risk of West Ham sort of disappearing into the ether for most of us fans anyway. You know, we've already said time and time again how many fans are walking away, are turning their back on the club. It's become too common now, and look, it's easy for us to say. For instance, let's say John walks away from West Ham, and it takes 5 years to get the ball out. Are we saying that John, all of a sudden, is just going to go straight back to West Ham as soon as we get a change of ownership? That might not be the case. Sometimes when you break the habit of a lifetime, it's difficult to pick that back up again. So the longer this goes on, the more damage is going to be done. You know, the more of the next generation of West Ham fan we could be missing out on because they're not enjoying it over there. The style of football's crap. It is. It's terrible. It's been boring for years. And to kids, excitement, well, to kids and me, excitement and enjoyment is an important part of the game to hook their interest. So for the current generation and the next generation, it's massively important these people go. So please, please, please keep your eyes on the prize. Let's get these people out. If we can have a good season in the process of doing that, then great. But I don't believe for a minute that there is a potential board takeover. I think that's nonsense being spread by the board, as it always is, and being peddled by the same people. So no, I don't think there's anything in it. If there was, I'd be happy. But I don't really want to talk about that because it's just distracting us from what we're trying to do here. And that's the purpose of it. Anyway, look, that is it from me. I hope you're all well. I'll speak to you soon. Come on, you irons.